going to digitize a full-size diagram of butterflies on a barn board background. This is the full-size paper diagram. Here we're seeing the new Logic Trace 2022. The program has a lot of custom setups, so under the options and setup you can set up this program to suit how you'd like to run it. It even has a remote menu. First thing I'm showing here is setting up the four corners of the diagram. Here I've selected line as my tracing option. Then I switched over to arc. Very easy. I found with this diagram I'm mostly selecting arc and tracing. Good tip here is to save your work frequently. And when you save your work, it saves either as a DXF or a poly DXF, but it creates a file called *TIG. That file can be reloaded. If you have problems, you can reload the file where you left off at. Here I'm starting some of the internal tracing, sticking to the largest parts first. After that I'll go to the butterfly wings and start tracing them out. There's 3 sets. It's just a matter of tracing out each section. Select the method of trace you want, and in this case I've selected trace, and when you finish that section you press stop and that closes up the vector. I use a red pencil to mark off where I've started to do my trace, and that way I don't get a cross vector. It also helps to keep track of what you've completed. You can see here I frequently save my work, and we're into tracing out the butterfly wings. To trace out the wings, I've selected trace as my option. Probably a good spot to mention that the program has the capability of extending the menu. So in other words, that left side there, that blue menu, that could be extended to an iPad or an iPhone or a phone, an Android phone. This would enable you to keep the iPad or the phone close to your drawing table and make your selections close by. I did not pick that because I'm recording all this. I would have to have another camera just to record the iPad or the iPhone. But that would be a helpful feature because you don't have to go so far over to the desktop monitor and select stop. You would just touch your iPad or touch your iPhone. In any case, it would make the tracing a lot easier, but like I said, for the purposes of this video, I chose not to do that. Just want to mention that saving that file as an *TIG file, that gives you the capability of loading that file. Say you didn't finish this tracing, next day you pick it up again. You just load that *TIG file and continue on your tracing. We're close now to finishing up our tracing. So what I'll do now is save this final file in a DXF format. I'm going to load that file into Vectric Aspire 11.0 check the vector quality, and probably resize the diagram to suit the barn board. Shown here, the file is loaded into Vectric Aspire 11.0. I'll do a simulation just to see how it's going to look. Now that I'm happy how it looks, I'm going to load that final DXF file into the CO2 laser software. This is a 150 watt CO2 laser. Here I'm running the laser simulation software, and it's going to take about 19 minutes. The cut went well. Very smooth cutting. That's a nice barn board panel to cut. As I mentioned earlier from the simulator, the cut took about 19 minutes, and when I picked it up, the parts just fell away. Excellent cutting. This was an excellent Logic Trace 2022 tracing exercise. The butterflies are fantastic looking with that barn board background. I placed it on an oak background, and then I placed it in front of a patio door, but I think it looks best with a white background.